So now we do something completely different now. Is it Monty Python did that, wasn't it? So we're going to... I was saying to somebody earlier, with our hot summer, one thing that was quite good this year was carp fishing. So I do a carp fly. So I don't know if many of you have done like the deer hair dog biscuits, which are great. You know, they float brilliantly because it's deer hair, so they are like amazingly buoyant. Sometimes they're too buoyant. You know, they work better when they get a bit waterlogged, don't they? When they sort of sink lower in the water. If you actually put a dog biscuit in a glass of water, it's like an iceberg. Like, you know, 80% of it is underwater, and it's just the top bit that actually is above, breaks the surface. So I was determined to come up with a fly that would do the same. And this is, sorry to do like something fritzy again, but this is what I sort of call, this is F&F Bush Baby. It's like what I call like a carpet fibre fritz. So it's not like the, you know, the plastic. This has actually got like sort of nylon fibres, coarse nylon fibres. And I've actually persuaded him. He has done a dog biscuit colour, although the colour's wrong. I think he's going to be launching that next year. So this is a softer sort of version of like a deer hair dog biscuit. It sits actually just under the surface of the water. And I've been out. We go to Todber Manor in Sturmiston Newton, our Wilkes Chalk Stream branch. And we've had some brilliant days out on the carp lakes. You know, as soon as you start firing some dog biscuits out there, yeah, it's great fun. So I thought I'd share that with you because it's just something completely different. So I've got we're going barbless now, obviously, because we're fishing for carp. So I'll have the wrong coloured thread on. I'll do it with black thread. It should really have like a sort of a thread colour to complement the dog biscuit, really. But black will be alright, should be able to hide it. So we're gonna, this is a size 10, this is a Dohiku 644 size 10. So, really nice strong barbless grub hook. Nice wide gape on it. I'm gonna park the thread. If you imagine that's the sort of flat shank bit of the hook, I'm gonna park the thread sort of in the middle. And this is basically a parachute fly. We're gonna use this sort of carpet fibre fritz like a parachute hackle. So we need a post. So I'm going to get some, this is 6mm booby foam, and I'm going to cut it lengthways. So it's about, I'll slice about a third off. So the big sort of 2/3 bit, the fatter section, we're going to use that. So I've got to tie that on top of the hook shank. I'm sort of having it my side, so when I pull the thread tight, it should pull it on top. So I'm tying it with the curve of the foam at the bottom. So when it folds up as a post, both flat edges meet, and it's going to create like the back to the circle again, back to the round foam. Like I said, I'm not a fan. I really don't like using super glue and things like that in fly tying. But where we're making such a big fly on such a tiny part of the hook, it's you know, it's going to get a real battering, and it's only going to be tied to this one little part of the hook. So I will just put a blob of super glue on that because they do get a blooming hammering. I've got this gel stuff, so it's not as dangerous or as messy as the wet stuff, he says. So I'm literally just going to put a splodge on the thread wraps underneath and put that away before I can do any damage with it. And then, so I've just tied in this foam post. I'll do a couple of thread wraps around. It just helps the thread wraps that have gone around that way. If I then do some wraps around, we're cinching those thread wraps, just getting it tighter and tighter. So there we go. And the same as before with the fritz, find out the nap of the fritz, to which end to tie them first. Strip off some fibres. Basically the yellow foam, you'll see the yellow foam on this is just a sighter, so you can see it at distance. So I'm going to tie core of that in just underneath the hook. And we should be able to trim off the waist of the core of the bush baby. But this stuff, there's things like ecstasy, these sort of, you know, soft fibre free. There's loads of different brands. So now, winding a parachute. This is not a hackle parachute, unfortunately, to show the technique, but if my thread is winding that way, I want to wind my parachute that way, so that they complement each other, the wraps complement each other. If you do it the other way around, let's say you end up trapping a lot more fibres than you'd like to. If they go in unison with each other, it works a lot better. So I'm doing the first turn underneath, put it tight, do a turn, put it tight. I've sort of gone up a little bit just to go around the foam, put it tight, and then each turn is going to go below the previous one after that. So sneak it over the shank, underneath the previous turn, underneath the previous turn. So they haven't quite got the colour right on this, but it works. So the carp aren't actually that fussy on the colour, I don't think. It's more how it acts in the water. So let me get one more turn. So that's going to be the last one. So I'm going to hold it there, wiggle the thread through, pull the fritz back against the thread, and that opens up the fibres, and I can then wiggle through. So hopefully my thread is going right down into the core of the fritz, so we're not trapping fibres. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And get a few turns in front. Trim off the waist. And get a bit finish. Because it's black thread, what I'll try and do is I'll try and slide the whip finish right back in so we can't see the black thread. So it's very good old thumbnail comes in handy. Shove it back. And then it's just a case that we'll trim the post so you've got about sort of 3 or 4 mil poking out. You can, if you want, as you're fishing, if they get really fussy, you can cut the post a little bit shorter, and it makes it like really critically sort of balanced in the water then, so it's literally just hovering in the water, and then as soon as the fish come up and suck, it just sort of flies in their mouth then.
Whereabouts did you say you fished?
Todber Manor, it's a coarse fishery in Sturminster Newton, and they've got lakes there where they've got the big specimen lakes with like the huge carp and that in. But they do have a like match lakes where they've just got it's just basically stuffed with like anything up to 12-pound carp. So now I'm just going to use
me. Like a couple of hours from here.
Sturminster Newton? No, it's near Shaftesbury. Be a long way from here.
Oh,
it's down my way.
Where's it called?
Yeah, not far. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just brush it into shape a bit. But so underneath it looks just like a dog biscuit. And then you've got the little yellow sighter on top, so you can see it from a distance. So it's just something a bit different.